I used to hear a lot of the time when I was going to meetings, people would throw out this thing about it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it that matters. Or they would say something like, you can choose to have a good day whenever you want to. Or they would say uh, something like, whatever happens in a certain situation, you're powerless over, but you can choose how you react and you can choose how you behave, or you can start having a good day whenever you want to. And several other little sayings like that. And I was I used to hear people all the time. They would share me the meeting. I can start having a good day whenever I like, or something like that. And it got me to thinking about uh, not too long ago, about a couple of months ago. I was driving along in this really bad intersection. In fact, I'm going to have to start avoiding it on a main highway. But it's an intersection that comes over a hill. In fact, every day that I drive by it, there's always some kind of major pileup going on over there. There's some kind of major, like, 3-car accident, 5-car accidents, something like that. And I was parked at a traffic light one evening on the way home, and I saw this real big monster pickup, and it was coming over the hill, and it was not slowing down at the stoplight. In fact, I took one look at that in the rear view. I just glanced up in my rear view like that, and I saw it coming like that over the hill. And I said, he's not going to stop. And I grabbed my wheel, and I tried to get out of the way. And, of course, I didn't have time, and I got hit from behind. But the impact, he wasn't going way over the speed limit. I mean, thank goodness, because if he'd been going, 60 or 70 miles an hour like some people do on that highway, we might not be, I might not be making this video right now or not, but when he hit my rear end, it threw me forward, it tossed me forward, and I hit the car in front of me, which hit the car in front of him, which hit the car in front of them. The first thought that went through my mind when I jumped out of the car, which probably wasn't a bright idea because I wasn't aware of the extent of if I was injured or not, but, I raised up like that. I felt a terrible pain throughout here because my head went forward and my head flew backwards like that. I felt a real bad pain in my leg for some reason, but I was kind of pumping full of adrenaline since it all happened, and I leaped out of the car, and I kind of was doing like that to make sure I was okay, and I was standing up. The guy got out of the back of the truck. His hands was just, he was a real young guy. He was, maybe early 20s or something like that, but he'd never been in a wreck before, had never encountered anything like that, and he was, his hands was just like this, and he was a nervous wreck, and everybody else was getting out of their cars and all that other kind of thing, and I walked over to him, and he was like, I've never been in a wreck before, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, I'm blah, 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 blah. I was like, hey, it was a fucking accident, this is a bad intersection, it happens all the time. Every day I drive by this intersection, there's always a 5-car pileup or something like that. When you come over that hill in the morning or in the evening, the sun is right in your eyes and you can't see where you're going. Nobody's hurt, nobody's dead, nothing's happening. It's a fucking accident. I mean, and of course, you had a lot of people stopping and a lot of bystanders and all that other kind of thing. In fact, one bystander was walking up to us. He was snapping all kinds of pictures. I guess he got to get the thing on social media or whatnot. But the kid at one point said, I hope they don't take me to jail for this. And you could see the fucking bystander was hoping that it was going to be a situation like that, because he was like, well, no, have you been drinking? You've been doing drugs? You driving without a license? And he was like, no, nothing like that. But I failed to maintain control, and I just interrupted, and I said, nobody's going to fucking jail, okay? Nobody. It's a wreck, And cops showed up, took everybody's statements. They made us sign off all this paperwork that we weren't injured, that we weren't going to a hospital. They were assholes about the whole entire thing. They were trying to write everybody tickets, but they ended up writing the kid a ticket. I don't know what happened exactly, but I know he had insurance and I had insurance and the other drivers had insurance. So, I'm sure one of those cars was totaled, though, because the one I crashed into, it was a little Altima, and I drive this Blazer. The back end of that was just, it was just total shit, so I don't know. But they ended up towing all our cars, which I told them, because I got insurance, they said, my insurance company will tow this thing back home. There's no need to, and of course they were fucking assholes about the whole thing, and it ended up getting taken to an impound lot, and even though it was taken there at like 7 o'clock in the evening, they charged me $250 for one day. And the very next day was another $250, and I had to go through a whole lot of crap with my insurance company, and they were fucking assholes when I got the junk vehicle out. I ended up having it towed back to my house, and it was, that truck was really a lemon, even before it got to 230,000 miles on it, to be honest. I mean, I know there's a lot of people, they're fans of the Blazers. This was an old 2003 Blazer. I swear to you, I will never buy another one of those again, even though I had a 1995 one once. It was just, I'd only had it for a couple of months, and I had to take it to I had the radiator go out, then a week later the water pump went out, and then a week later a wheel bearing went out, and it was like that every couple of months, the whole entire time I had that piece of shit, So in one way, I was kind of glad it was totaled. And the point I'm making with all of this is the way I behaved when that happened, the way I acted when it all went down. I didn't choose how I reacted about that. I didn't choose the way I talked to that guy. I didn't choose the way I talked to I didn't choose to be pissed off at the police for being assholes. I didn't choose any of that. I just reacted a certain way that I reacted when it was going down, because, to be honest, I had a flood of adrenaline pumping through me. I mean, I had a lot of adrenaline pumping through my veins, and the only thing I was thinking about, I think it was one of the reasons why I was so nice to the kid at the wreck and everything, is I'm standing on my own 2 feet. I'm not injured. I haven't broken an arm. I haven't broke a leg. I'm not paralyzed. I can walk. I can move my head. That was mainly what was flooding me. In fact, that kind of adrenaline rush kept me high for like 2 or 3 days. It was like on the 4th day when the junkyard people come along and got the thing, and then I was having to deal with car lots, and I was having to deal with used car vehicles, and now is not a good time to buy a car. Let me just say that. That's when the reality of it all came in, and I was like, God fucking damn, this all sucks, But I didn't choose how I reacted to that. I didn't choose the way I behaved. I didn't choose the way I felt. I didn't choose any of it. I'm pretty sure the guy that ran into me by mistake, when he got out of the car, when he was shaking and he was upset and he was worried, he didn't choose the way he felt. He didn't choose, to have shaking hands. He didn't choose how he was going to react to a situation. He just reacted to the situation the way he reacted to it. Just like the other drivers on the scene were being fucking assholes. I don't think they chose to do that, even though they're probably like the AA fucking people. They're dicks about everything. But it used to get me how these bullying, intimidating old-timers would always scorn and mock people that had like serious problems in AA with, well, you could choose to have a good day if you want to. You could choose how you react. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react. You could choose how you react. But really, can you? And exactly who gets to decide what a proper way is to react? Who gets to decide the way you react is the wrong way to react? Them? Because they live horribly miserable lives and are engaged in some of the most abhorrent activity. They're utter shit splats on the sewage of society, but yet they're telling you that it's how you react to a situation that matters. If you wake up in the morning and you got a real bad migraine headache, can you choose to say, God damn, I'm in pain and I wish this pain would go away? Can you choose not to do that? Can you choose to say, well, I'm going to make me a gratitude list because if I was not in AA, the migraine headache would be a whole lot worse. I mean, there was something I found online not too long ago. It's quirky. It's it's one of those things that's an acquired taste, I would guess. I wouldn't recommend it to people unless you've got a bizarre sense of humor in an absurd kind of way, but it was called the Goon Show. It was a BBC program in the 1950s. It starred Peter Sellers, Harry Seacombe, and Spike Milligan. They did like 9 to 10 characters on the radio program. It was called the Goon Show. It was totally ridiculous. It was completely silly. It was completely over the top. It was weird. It was bizarre, but I found myself dying laughing listening to it. There was, to give you an example, one time at the beginning of the show, this guy says, I can't find any calendars that says 1955, so 1955 is missing. Do you realize what that means? That means there's a year somewhere that's gone. It's disappeared. What are we going to do about it? They get the government involved, and it gets more idiotic as it goes on. But I was sitting there dying laughing over that. I mean, I don't even like comedy usually. I don't find a lot of things funny, believe it or not. I'm not what you would call the kind of person that laughs at comedies or humor or anything like that. My dad was, big into people like Laurel and Hardy and those kinds of things, but it never kind of had an appealing thing for me. Can I choose the way I react to that? Can I choose to laugh or not laugh over the Goon Show? Can you choose when you hear about something really tragic or really, really devastating? Can you choose not to cry? Can you choose, not to feel sad? Can you choose not to be depressed if you're given really bad news? Can you choose not to be unhappy if someone you care about very deeply is in pain or in suffering? I mean, how much of your feelings do you really have control over? And the funny thing about this is a program that tells you that you're powerless over people, places, and things. It tells you that you're completely helpless over your addiction. It tells you that without the AA God, the AA program, and the AA bully and old timers, that you're going to walk into a liquor store and just pick up liquor and get drunk and wasted until you die because you have no control over it whatsoever. That you have no mental defenses. That your defense must come from a higher power. But then they turn around and tell you can choose how you feel. They can tell you can choose how you can react, which they never do tell you what the right way is to react. Considering the way that these people reacted about everything, they were really good at kicking people when they were down. They were really good at going around and telling people who were in pain, well, life ain't fucking fair, get over it. That was what one old bastard old timer I used to know would say to people. But unless something bad happened to them, oh my dawn, the whole entire world is falling apart. We all need to bow and scrape and just feel sorry for this person because they're going through a bad time. They don't treat other people like that. It's a separate set of rules and a separate set of laws for the old-timers and the gurus and the people who've been sober a long time. They can do whatever they like. They can be as ungrateful as they like. They can be as mean as they like. They can be as short-sighted as they like and vindictive as they like. But if you do anything, if you just have a bad day and you're a little irritated, or you have a bad day and you're a little upset, they'll tell you it's because you're not grateful. They'll tell you it's because you're a selfish alcoholic. They'll tell you it's because you're not living in AA God will. They'll tell you that it's because you're egotistical. They'll tell you it's because your disease wants you to be depressed or whatever. Every time you have a negative feeling, the cult blames it all on you. But on the flip side of the coin, if you have a positive feeling, if you have a good day, the cult wants to take all the credit for it. For example, not too long ago, I actually had a really good day, which, really, really, really good picture-perfect days are few and far between in life, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I was like, wow, this was a pretty cool day. I couldn't do that if I was in the cult religion of Quackaholics Anonymous. If I was in the cult religion of Quackaholics Anonymous, I'd have to go to the meeting and say, I had a really good day today. But I have to remember, if I wasn't sober today, I wouldn't have had a good day. If I wasn't in the cult of AA, I wouldn't have had a good day today. If it had been me on my own willpower and on my own selfishness and my own ego and all into self, I would have been drunk, or I would have been in an emergency room, or I'd have been in jail. There's no way I could have had a good day without God and AA and the program and the responses and all the rest of the blabber that goes with it, It's the same thing with if something good happens in your life, which they don't want nothing good to happen in your life, by the way. That's a whole entire another topic right there. They don't want you to get promotions at work. They don't want you to have a good relationship with your family. They don't want you to have happiness. They don't want you to sometimes just be silly. They're always talking about how, everything is about drinking and not drinking and all that. I remember saying to somebody in passing one time that I liked old movies, and they said, well, what good does that stuff do anybody? What good does it do anybody? Why has it got to do good for anybody? Why can't it just be something I enjoy? I mean, what good is what you're doing for everybody? Just sitting in meetings and complaining and whining and condemning the less fortunate. They don't want you to have a normal life whatsoever. If things are going good in your life, it's because of them. If things are going bad in your life, it's because you're in the self. It's because you can choose the way you react to a situation and you're not reacting properly, which they never do tell you what that is. It's funny, these people that sit there, they're miserable, they're angry, they're petty, they're short-sighted, they're bullies, will tell you, well, it's not what happens to you. It's how you choose to react to it. How is reacting to something badly a crime? How is it something bad or terrible or inhumane if you say, you know what, I'm having a bad freaking day and I feel like getting loud? I don't know if you've ever seen the commercial where the guy is like praying to the printer, please print, please print this paper. Just do this printing for me. Okay, I had that happen not too long ago. I had to print a bunch of documents and the printer kept giving me an error message, so I went and reset something, and then the printer gave me another error message, and then the computer internet went out, and I started shouting at the printer. I started shouting at the printer, you son of a bitch, why don't you fucking print the paper? What happened? Was it a crime? I mean, did something inhumane happen because I had a bad reaction to a printer that was frustrating the hell out of me, or was it just a normal human emotion that everybody has? To tell people that they can choose the way they feel, to me, is a very unhealthy thing to do, because it makes you feel like you've done a bad thing if you're feeling down. It makes you feel like you've done a bad thing if you're feeling sad. It makes you feel like you've done a bad thing if you're just not having a good day and you're just not feeling with it, you know. But they'll tell you that you can choose how you feel. You cannot really necessarily always choose how you feel. I mean, if you got a phone call and said, God forbid, that somebody you cared about had died horribly, can you choose how you feel? I mean, if you got a phone call and the doctor told you, you know, we're sorry, but the CAT scan came back and it's not looking good for you, can you choose the way you react? Can you choose what you feel like when that happens to you? I mean, most people, myself included, would say when it comes to something like that, like being told, hey, you know, this CAT scan is showing a lot of abnormalities, that I think most ordinary people would say the same thing. I have no idea how I'm going to react to something like that unless I'm faced with it. I have no clue how I would react if they told me I was eat up with a terminal illness right now. I have no clue how I would behave in that situation. I hope to God I'm never faced with it. You know, I'm one of these people that hopes I die at I don't know, 80 years old with you know, 80 years old in my sleep, you know. I mean, it's something like that. But again, this notion, this myth that if you feel bad or have bad feelings, you're a bad person, is perpetuated by the cult religion, who's more than happy to steal your happiness, is more than happy to steal your credit for anything good you do in life. If something good happens to you in life, it's because they did it for you. If something bad happens to you in life, it's because of you, your self-will run riot, your ego, your alcoholism, your disease, they have like a long list of the standard go-to derogatory labels to pin on you whenever you're having a bad moment or a bad day or something like that. I had, you know, like I said, I have no idea. I had no idea how I was going to react in that wreck when it happened, because I wasn't expecting it. I looked up in the rear view when I saw that truck flying, and I was like, yeah, you know. But I had no clue I was going to jump out of the car and say, oh my God, I'm not injured. Now I'm going to have a flood of adrenaline rush through me, and I'm going to go tell the guy that crashed into me, hey, it was a fucking accident. It's not your fault. Nobody's hurt. I had no control over that. I didn't have no preconceived notion of how, you know what, if I'm ever in a wreck, I'll behave like this. I mean, this is really ridiculous to put your whole entire existence, your whole entire mental state underneath some fucking microscope and examine every little move you make or every little turn like you're doing something criminally wrong for feeling a certain way. Anyway, that's 17 minutes and 43 seconds, so I got a few other topics that are rolling around in my head. Maybe I'll get to them pretty soon, hopefully by next week. See you then.